Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield. They just dropped an advanced search engine for Sorcery the Contested Realm. If you want to browse every available card or dig deep with powerful search filters, head over to sorcery.moxfield.com. You can even click on the search syntax button on the main page to see all the terms you can use. And don't worry, when new cards are revealed from official sources, Moxfield updates quickly. Now on to the show. Phil, today we're talking toolboxes. We're talking all the cards that you can put into your collection that are reasonable to put into your collection for Toolbox that will either like solve a problem or maybe it's a good threat, or just the cards that you would want to get off of Toolbox for any particular situation. So when you're building your collection, after you're building a deck, you have sort of a go-to place to look to be like, oh, here are the cards that I would conceivably add to my deck. And initially, Phil, when I thought about doing this episode, I was like, oh, you pick five, I'll pick five, which is just not going to do it. Like, I think we wanted a much more comprehensive list, a go-to spot for people to look at. And of course, like if we missed something, please comment below and tell us like, what we missed, and I'll add it to my the best toolbox cards deck list so that we know. Assuming I agree with you, assuming there's a reason to put it in, and you're not just like Stormcrow. But with that said, Phil, I thought it would just make more sense if we just did every card, every card we can think of.
Yeah, this is like a really broad list. Like, of course, there are cards like, I'm looking at a list of cards that aren't on here. Like, there are things like Carrion Beetles and Baptize and Detonate and, just like cards that are like, okay, yeah, you could see a world where these effects would be valuable. And these are valuable effects that would coincide with, like, depending on what your avatar is. So, like, if you're a necromancer, yeah, maybe all of like the you sacrifice a thing to do a thing is a higher value because you always have an endless stream of bodies to sacrifice. So like this is we could definitely get into the specifics of like, wait, why isn't this here? It works with this avatar. Totally, it absolutely does. You're totally right. This is more like broad strokes. Regardless of your avatar, you're probably looking at these cards or effects that are like it. And if you have the capacity to toolbox, you should probably be toolboxing because the effects are broad and vast and can give you a lot of additional gameplay in the one game that you get to play every match. And you should be using the additional scaffolding that they have offered you post Gothic. Now, if you're using your collection for like the sites that produce bodies out of your
Shoggoths
collection
and ghouls and stuff.
If you're taking up space that way and that you're going to use your collection to increase your threat density, awesome. This is I would say leaning, if not entirely, to reactive. A lot of this is reactive. There is some amount of stuff on here that can be proactive, but for the most part, these are a lot of reactive things to respond to the game that's in front of you. And so a lot of the discussion will lean in that direction, because if you're trying to be proactive with your collection, it's very likely that you're just putting the additional bodies that you can pull from there in there.
It's quite obvious what you're trying to do. Yeah.
And so that, like, it'll be interesting for like how that sort of evolves in the years to come as we get more sets. But for the baseline right now, the collection in Toolbox really seems to be like pinpointed answers. And so we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, before we get into that, Phil, I just wanted to mention that we sent out our Dragon Lord from the 500 subscriber episode to Bozarth Prime. And he did reach out to us on our Gmail account, which I had missed. Good thing I kept checking in. And of course, we got that out today in the mail. You can still, if you're thinking about man, I sure would like a Dragon Lord. We are still giving away another Dragon Lord. So type Dragon Lord 1000 in the comments, and you'll be entered into that drawing as well. And of course, it goes without saying, we're always appreciative of any support you can give us on Patreon. You can get all of our content ad-free on Patreon, which will be a big deal because we're almost about to be monetized on YouTube. So these videos will eventually have YouTube ads on them. That will be annoying, but it's a boon for us. So, I don't know what to tell you. I'm selling out. What can I say?
Capitalism sucks, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are, But to that end, there's a lot more that we offer on Patreon as well. And I think just Patreon's like a better place to, if you really are dedicated to getting content from people, that's a better place to support them. As well. And of course you can, you can use YouTube Premium to not have any of the YouTube ads or whatever, but we also offer YouTube memberships here as well. It's just that you get the ad-free content over on Patreon, so there is that. With that said, let's go and check out these cards. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. There's just gonna be the screen in between two of us, Phil, and you'll just see the card I'm highlighting here. All right, so up first, Phil, we have Just a Rock.
I think Just a Rock is so much more underrated than it seems. Like, I don't see Just a Rock very often in very many lists, but it seems like this is one of the easiest slams dunks to always be worthwhile of a slot that I can think of. It's like the cheapest effect of what it does. It doesn't care about position. They just have to be carrying the thing that it gets rid of, and then it banishes it. There's no means for them to get the thing back. Yeah. And I don't know.
Banished, by the way, is exiled. It does not go to the graveyard. It is out of the game. Goodbye.
And there is no way to get cards from out of the game back into the game that I'm aware of.
Goodbye, Ring of Morgan. Goodbye, Cores. Goodbye, Crown of Victor or Screaming Skull. Yeah.
I've noticed between like Interrogator and Sorcerer and the people who were playing like Aggro Magician and stuff, like these are players that are really, really having to lean on like mana rocks. Like they're having to lean on the cores and
there are a few
like between Philosopher's Stone
on the cores.
And all of the cores. Yeah, like just a rocking their stuff. Like even if you spend 3 mana to do it off of by getting this out of your collection, like that's not that could just like blow up their entire development. Like the difference between the curve of going from like 4 to 5 to like drop a vampire or something, but and whether or not they have to then draw a site to deploy the site and then do the thing, like that's a whole turn where they're not like able to do any of the other aspects that they would want to do because they have to spend their time rebuilding that development. And so like if you're at parity or ahead at all, like Just a Rock can set them so far back. And if you're behind, Just a Rock can like really get you back into the game, because if you time walk them by having to like make them take an additional turn of development because you like undid the turn that they were trying to speed ahead, like you can just get yourself back to parity. So I think Just a Rock is an absolute haymaker slam dunk, and it will be in my collection at least as a one of for, I don't know, the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Another great one is Blink. We're just going to go in mana cost order here. Blink. Blink is it's a great utility spell. Sometimes you just need to move, right? And and it replaces itself too.
Yeah, so when it comes to the movement stuff that you could play in the board, Blink, because it replaces itself, is obviously very good. But I would think that if you are interested in movement at all, like Blink is the type of card that is just going to exist in your main deck. Now, if you're looking to make a cut and you cut one of your Blinks to put into the collection, then you're looking at Toolbox plus Blink, and now you're looking at a 4-mana Blink, and I get that there's utility, but I feel like if you're looking at movement effects, and this is just my take on like, if you wanted a movement effect in your sideboard, it would be whatever is in your sideboard, in your collection, it would be whatever is not main deckable, and it would also likely be something that's a little bit more impactful. So like Blink moving 1 step and drawing a card, that's all well and good, but for 4 mana, it's kind of anemic. But if you were to do 4 mana and then you had like for example, I forget if it's an ordinary spell, but for example, like Tactical Move or something that just generates a ton of movement. Like for your 4 mana, you are going to reposition the board in a meaningful way.
Tactical Move is ordinary. We'll throw it in there.
1 at a time, each ally takes 2 steps. So like you can move your Avatar 2 steps, you can move all of your Union 2 steps. Like, but with 4 mana, you are repositioning the board, and that is contextual, right? It's really hard to main deck something.
You have to have a lot of guys on the board to make that to make up for the fact that you're not drawing a card, I think.
Right, but even for like, let's say if you blink and like move yourself away, that's all well and good. But if you move yourself away and then have to also tap to move an additional step, that way somebody can't attack you from wherever they currently are. That's an additional action that you have to take that's costing you something additional, and that's 4 mana, right? And the trade-off is you're getting the card draw. But if you're looking to move for safety's purposes, or looking to move to really advance and get closer to your opponent, it would just make more sense to me that if you're spending 4 mana, because Blink at 4 mana I don't think is worth it, right? Blink at 2 mana is obviously worth it. Yeah. Blink at 2.5 probably worth it. Blink at 3 probably not worth it. But if you're in a position where a tactical move is just a blowout, because now you can just move your stuff into a position where then you can, each thing gets to take 2 steps, and then you get to attack with everything that's beneficial to attack with. You have just now upended the entire position of the realm. And that to me is worth 4 mana. Now, I get that that's contextual, but like both offensively and defensively, something that is just a way bigger of a haymaker when it comes to movement is going to be a higher value proposition to put into your collection.
For what it's worth, Phil, tactical move only costs 2 mana.
I'm saying that to toolbox for it, it costs 4 mana.
I see what you're saying. I got you.
So like I'm looking at this through the lens of like, what is...
just so everyone's clear, tactical move it does not cost 4 mana.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm looking at if you are going to spend the toolbox tax of 2 mana to get an effect, you want that effect to be at least worth 4 mana and the collection slot, because the collection slot ain't free. There's a lot of stuff that you can be doing. So it's like if you are going to like optimize your collection to get the most impactful version of the collection that you can get, I think Blink, and it's a good discussion point. Like Blink is like the best version of movement that we have because of cantrips, but it's I think worse in the collection than something like Tactical Move because of the toolbox tax. Where it's like Blink, if you wanted the movement, just put it main board because it cycles.
Yeah. Well, let's not even worry about the toolbox tax so much because we're adding 2 to. We know we're adding 2 to all of these.
But that changes the math, though. Like 4 mana,
certainly,
but that's a whole turn.
If a card is on this list, it is worth the toolbox tax.
I don't think so. I don't think I would put Blink. I disagree, Zach. I disagree because like typically, if like when you toolbox, your toolboxes are significantly less powerful if your opponent knows about it, right? Like if you spend a turn toolboxing and cracking it, so you get that way you can blink on the following turn.
Sure,
they're gonna go. Oh well, I know that they can move with a blink, so I have to figure out the position.
But do they? There's so many cards here. They don't know what. Like your opponent basically has to think. Oh, there are 270 common cards in the game.
No,
some number of them are the ones that he can play.
I'm saying if you spend your toolbox and then so you spend the toolbox on one turn and then you break it to blink, right?
Sure.
Like if they're like, oh, they can play around to blink. How do you play around to surprise?
I agree. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying if we add 2 to the cost of every one of these cards, it's going to drive everyone insane because they're going to be like, why does he keep saying that this card costs 4 when it costs 2?
No, it's going to actually. I think it's going to make this list a lot leaner.
Like I literally thought that you did not read Tactical Move right. So let's stick to the mana cost these cards are, and then you can just say, we can say about the toolbox tax, but otherwise it's just if you're adding 2 to the cost of every one of these cards, it is confusing.
It's toolbox. We are taxing 2 onto every one of these cards.
Yeah, exactly. So then we don't need to mention it.
Zach, the episode is called Toolbox Tax.
All right. Well, all right. Let's move on to the next card, Disenchant, and I'm gonna couple that with Dispel. These are the exact same card, basically. And I think that this is a classic utility card. Like this is a card almost every deck wants some version of this, and these are the 2 easily best versions, especially if you can hit multiple things.
We love the cheapest version of a bread and butter, and this is a bread and butter for sure.
Yeah. I don't think there's much more to say about them aside from the fact that you don't have to put these inside your deck anymore. You can go toolbox for them if you need them.
And it's also like it is so potent that like the having Disenchant and Dispel are good enough that even when your opponent expects it, which they always will, because everybody's going to have a Disenchant or Dispel in their collection, and so they can like position their artifacts or auras like away from each other. That way they can't get blown up on the same site. The fact that they still have to do that might also mean that they are doing a thing that like they're making a concession somehow. Like it might be possible that they don't want to have to split up their stuff, but they do it anyway because they're trying to play around Dispel and Disenchant. And while that may minimize the effect of Dispel and Disenchant, it might also soften the play that they otherwise would have been able to make. So like the value of Dispel and Disenchant is always going to exist in the same way that Just a Rock is going to exist. These are bread and butter effects that are so good, and they're the cheapest version of what they do.
All right, next up is a card that I would actually consider like a really great like collection card. A card that like you're like, oh, I'm in a particular situation, I'm gonna go get Exorcism. Banish all demons and undead at target location up to 2 steps away. So it does the same thing as Dispel and Disenchant, but it hits demons and undead, which we know there are a lot of right now.
Yeah, this is like I can see this one over time going in and out once we understand like where, like if you go to a crossroads and you understand what like the top of the metagame looks like, or the metagame that you expect to walk into, like I can see you, like if you have what you think is an otherwise soft matchup against what would be pushing demons and undead to some capacity, like if you're soft against Necromancer, it's like, yeah, having something like this is going to be, powerful to have access to. But I could also see this being one where you're like, well, I need the space, I'm going to cut this card. But yeah, Exorcism, obviously very powerful, obviously very good.
Firebolts. Sometimes you just need to finish off an opponent.
Yeah, the projectile effects I think are typically soft, but the fact that you can toolbox to kill them at death's door is like can't be understated. So that's like
Yeah.
pretty potent. So
And we
between
can
this and
include magic missile in here
missiles,
too. Obviously,
yeah,
let me add that in.
I think like honestly, you could if you incorporate like any like um cheap projectile type effect, like I could see somebody boarding zap in their
Yeah,
sideboard just because
yeah.
rather than like if your opponent's playing around missiles or whatever, like they can just stack their um stuff onto one site to like play around it. And it's like if you're just like, I wanted to have a toolbox way that I can just kill you at death's door regardless of what the board looks like zap also suddenly becomes like really hot, right? Like the direct damage stuff is very much a subsection of the collection that's going to be something that you should have access to.
Similar to Blink, we have Geyser. Each minion there gets airborne and draw a card. So this turn, flood target site. So that's its own thing, right? Like maybe you need to get rid of a spider, right? And then give each minion there airborne. So like it does a couple of things and it draws a card.
Zach, I know we've talked about it before, but I think I'll
This
say
is exceptional. We're gonna pretend like I didn't say that.
when Save Geyser, that's a teaser for our Silver Bullet episode, which we're going to
Yes.
get into because I seem from what I've seen from players around talking to you in our chats. I feel like I am so much higher on Silver Bullet than everybody else. Everybody's really
Yeah.
high on Toolbox and is like, you should
I
absolutely be Toolbox.
once we have the Silver Bullet episode, I'll be a little higher on it. But right now, I'm just like I haven't done that mental work, and I already know what the cards for Toolbox are, and also like having access to like 3 of a card as opposed to 2 of a card makes a big difference. It means that you're lot less likely to see those cards out of your collection. So there's that too.
I want to point out one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot when it comes to collection choices is the quote that I attributed to Magnus Carlsen, who's the best chess player in the world, which I believe I've quoted before, and I'm not even sure if it's his quote, but he says that he said ostensibly that the best moves are the ones that do more than one thing. And so if you can pull something from your collection, I think you would want those cards to be able to do more than one thing. And that's where like I get that Geyser is an exceptional card, so it's not part of the ordinary toolbox package. But like, if you just looked at what it did real quick, it's like, okay, it floods a site. That's one thing. It gives them all airborne. That has movement implications, and it draws a card. Like, it's doing all of these different things that can cover a bunch of different circumstances in ways where like a blink does one thing and that's it.
I mean, imagine if you're in a situation where you have like 3 guys on top of a site with a root spider, and you cast Geyser on that site. You kill the root spider, and everybody just spreads out. So that if they play like, another root spider,
you just have like orthogonal movement around the realm, like while also what is it, that kills the thing, goes up a card, and then has all this movement. Like that would be a crazy exchange.
More than orthogonal, diagonal too.
Oh yeah, it's King's move. Yeah, what am I saying? Of course.
All right, let's go to the next card and stop talking about exceptionals that aren't in this list.
Wow.
Led Astray is a card that I just discovered. Like I was looking around and I was like, ooh, choose any number of enemies at target location. They take a step to another location they're adjacent to. This is like a cool tech card. You could be like, everyone's moving, like, especially if you're in a situation where like your opponent is like got a bunch of guys near him that they can stay off of death's door, but they're like spreading out, right? And you can just be like, okay, everyone moves over here, and I'll attack your guy.
I think the other part about what I really enjoy about these types of cards that allow you to do mass movement, essentially similar to tactical move, is there's a bunch of sites that care about when they're moved onto. Like if you just lead everybody astray into a troll bridge, like tell me if I'm correct in how this works, but each one would get struck by the troll bridge, right? They move one at a time
together. No, it says take a step together to another location.
So it wouldn't work with troll bridge.
No, it won't work with troll bridge.
But it would work with thin ice.
But it would work with. It certainly would work with thin ice. It certainly would work with bottomless pit. Yeah. All right. Next up, I think everyone knows that lightning bolt belongs on this list. Sometimes you just need a lightning bolt.
These are the damage-based stuff that fits into post-death's door action.
Yep. More movement with Mad Dash. Another draw a card, then give an ally +1 movement this turn. Simple. It's doing its best blink impression, right?
I think Blink and Mad Dash are just the type of cards that are always going to be like your 13th, 14th card that you would
Yeah,
put in
yeah,
your collection.
agreed. But there will be times when you're like, ooh, you know what? This is the time when like I'm gonna want this. All right, magic missiles. We've already covered firebolt, so we'll move on to return to nature. Phil, return to nature is great because you can disrupt your opponent's graveyard with it, right? Their cemetery with it, but you can also just use it to buy back some of your stuff and draw a card.
Yeah, I put carrion beetles also as graveyard hate. Uh, it just depends on like what kind of graveyard hate. This is where like it becomes contextual. Like if you want graveyard hate, I think that like carrion beetles being a cheaper way to do it, if you need to get there early enough to catch them, like that could matter more. There's also like the aspects of it being a beast. Like there's implications for beasts. You know, like
Then you can start doing
you
fire
could
breathing.
yeah, like carrion beetles can breathe fire, right? Like Return to Nature can't breathe fire, but Return to Nature can cycle back things into your deck. So like it depends
And it
on
draws a card.
so it depends on the build, right? Like if the best things to be getting are the things that can do more than one thing, both of those types of both of those cards can do more than one thing, but it depends on the support that you're looking to get in that optionality. On top of the fact that they're both cemetery disruption, so
Certainly.
like, yeah, Return to Nature is certainly going to be among the cemetery disruption effects that you would consider putting in your collection, and then it just depends on the kind of strategy you are.
I didn't look, but so this is Riptide. Is there a Earth version of Blink? Like this is the water version of Blink, right? And then Mad Dash is the fire version of Blink. I wonder, is there like one that's like for Earth, or Earth doesn't get that? Maybe they just don't.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but you know, another like target water site pulls an above ground unit. It's adjacent to. What's sick about this is you can use your own or your opponent's. If your opponent's playing water, you can move your guys onto the water site. You know, it's and again, it draws a card, so it just replaces itself. All right, next up, tactical move, which we just talked about. We'll move on to another card that I would consider like a great sideboard card, Unravel. Destroy all artifacts and undead minions at a location up to 2 steps away. This one I got a chance to use this weekend, and exorcism. I had a chance to remove like 3 skeletons from a spot, and knowing that I can also just get rid of like an opponent's like, oh, you have like 4 cores on your guy. No, you don't.
Yeah, this is the combination where we start to see a little bit of blend between effects and how to optimize which ones you care about. So, like, you could have disenchant, you could have dispel, you could have exorcism, or you could have part disenchant / dispel, part exorcism. So, like, there's a difference between banishing and destroying for sure. If you're up against necromancer and you destroy their stuff, like, I'm not really too sure that they're going to be too bothered by that. But depending on the metagame that you expect to go into, Unravel is the type of card that is certainly going to be within like your collection reachables. Because will it always be in your collection? No. But will it always be in something that you should consider given a metagame? Absolutely.
Boil is one that I have really been digging, right? Destroy all minions atop target, occupying target water site up to 2 steps away. Super good.
Yeah, the Boil Extinguish like the 2 cards, like this to me is like the Pyroblast Hydroblast of this game. Yeah. Where like you're always gonna have these things. It's just so broad. Like the destroying all one element, it's not a type, it's not
well, this isn't even an element. This is just like, are you on a water site? Bye-bye. Well, you can have water sites. You can play your own water sites, you know?
Yeah, like I think that like these effects are so broad in what they do that like you're going, like if you go into an event, you can expect over the course of a day that you're going to run into where these things would be potent, you know, and they are like they're powerful effects, and you would definitely want them when they're like pointed, when they're precision at 5 mana.
Yeah.
Sorry,
all right.
2+3. At 2+3.
2+3. Okay. One of the best threats I think that you can play is Border Militia. If you want to go wide, like sometimes you're just like, I need to end the game, I'm going to play Border Militia. Now I've got 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, Border Militia and Raised Militia both are pretty potent in this space as like a way to be both like these can both be defensive and offensive, and just having one of in your collection as a means to like give yourself the optionality of that is really potent.
Yeah. All right. Obviously next, Barry. Sometimes you just need to bury a dude.
Buried alive, you know, just like the generic like destroy whatever it is that you want to destroy is going to be powerful. you're going to have like minor wrath effects. You're going to want the flexibility of having something that can just deal with anything. This one also has the flexibility again of being able to sync a minion or an artifact. That's not as good against monuments, obviously.
Yeah.
But like it is still potent against stuff that you would otherwise care about, and like, you know, shutting off rings and cores and things like that to set your opponent back can be pretty potent.
And of course, drowned. If you're doing one, you
Yeah.
can do the other, right?
Yep.
Extinguish. Flame strike. Sometimes you want to do a little bit of wide damage, right? The other option here is also burning hands. Is a card you can do too. I'm gonna write that down so I remember to add it. These are cards that are just like, sometimes you just need to do damage to a wide swath of things, and this is a card that does that.
Yeah, and these are the type of effects too that once you have them in your collection, it can sort of inform how you want your movement to be throughout a game.
Mhm.
Like just putting yourself in position, if like your opponent has to, like if you do something, and you, the thing about like with the cool aspect of the collection too is, let's say like flame strike is in your collection, so you're moving in a position to leverage a flame strike.
Mhm.
If your opponent is on the level, even if you don't have flame strike, if they think you might have flame strike and you make a move that like suggests that you might have it,
It
and they're like,
changes
wow,
everything. They're like, I gotta move.
that move is sort of awkward. It's not necessarily good or bad, but I don't really understand why they would do it. Why would they do that? If they go deep enough into the tank where they're just like on the level and they're like, oh, maybe they have flame strike, I should probably play around it and not like put my minions in that position. And then maybe they start taking game actions that they otherwise wouldn't want to make and that they don't even have to make in the first place. But like there's this gamifying aspect to these types of effects that just can exist in the collection, which if you can think about the power of the collection beyond just the cards in it, that can also get you some amount of equity throughout a match.
Next up, grapple shot. Not a whole lot to say about grapple shot. It does what it does. You know,
It does what it does, and it does it so well.
yeah. This is a card. Sometimes you're just like, ooh, you know what would be great here is I'll make my Dapple Vampire grapple shot, hit your guy, attack you. You know, like gain a bunch of life. You know, so it's an easy include if that's the kind of deck that you are. Next up, Hamlet's Ablaze. It's one of the few cards that you can play in your collection that can deal with a site, and not that the ordinary exceptional sites for the most part don't have a lot of like wild effects, but this does allow you to deal with you know, maybe messing with your opponent's mana as far as fixing sites are concerned. There are a few solid exceptional sites that will you know, like Gnome Hollows is a great example,
Pebble
right?
Path.
Pebble Pass, you know, maybe you need to have charge. So now you can do Hamlet's Ablaze, and there you go.
I think the other thing about this too that can make Hamlet's Ablaze interesting is there is the possibility that if your opponent is on like, you know, is playing, you know, 3 elements or 4 elements, that like if this just hits one of their dual sites, like you just spend time hitting
To
their
the
dual
Stone
sites,
Age
and
with you. Yep.
that like makes them stumble enough to have been worth your turn. That can be really powerful. Like you by just hitting a dual site might turn off like a couple different threshold things if they're like, depending on how greedy they get. So
Not
Hamlet's
to mention
Ablaze is
if you the play pattern setup, right, is like turn 2 Toolbox, turn 3 Hamlet's Ablaze, turn 4 you play a site on that rubble, and now you're like right in front of them.
Yeah. I think Hamlet's Ablaze as doing something that's unique in the ordinary space, which is blowing up a site, even if it's only ordinary and exceptional, has enough implications and it gives you optionality that you would otherwise not have access to. Now, so it's like if you have the capacity to support double fire, like I think Hamlet's Ablaze is probably a top contender for the metagame that at least that I've noticed seeing online and what people are trying. Like,
speaking of top contenders in that double red space, Minor Explosion.
Yeah, Minor Explosion. I think Detonate is probably also in this.
Detonate, sure.
You could put it alongside it depending on the avatar you're in. But yeah, just like easy functionality if your opponent decides to like load up. Also in this space too, when it comes to like the choice of like what do you do for like if you can get a bunch of bodies onto one site or if they're putting a bunch of bodies onto one site. I think Instigator Imp also at Ordinary is really powerful. That's from our water mages out there, but I like Instigator Imp. What's up?
Add these in. Or are you not on it?
I'm on it, but I can't add things.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Because this is my account. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But we'll keep going.
I think like also if
I'm writing them down.
if you think like the cards that are valuable through the toolbox tax, like if you spend
Yeah.
2+2
Vandal
on
Imp
an
too,
instigator imp and then blow up 2 of their minions, like absolutely that's worth it. 4 mana, spending 4 mana is absolutely worth killing 2 of their things, right?
Yeah, especially if it's like 2 big minions and they just
Right.
like kill each
Right.
other, and then, or 2 big minions, you play that, they kill one kills the other one, and then you can finish it off with like one of your like skeleton tokens or something.
Mhm.
You know, it's great.
What's cool too about like that sort of thing too is depending on how the game evolves. Right now, everybody's just exploring with like one-ofs across the thing to get as vast of a as the meta and people are still figuring stuff out is so wide. It's like you want all of these options, but like there could be a world where you're like, yep, I want every toolbox to always have access to this effect that I think is so good. And it's like if you're like, oh my god, like my opponent just has all these Hamlets Ablazes in their sideboard in their collection, and I keep getting blown out. Like they keep just cycling for these Hamlets Ablazes. Like this is wrecking me. Like, or like if you instigator imp, it is unlikely that they play around the second instigator imp out of the collection, and you might just be able to get them again. You know, it's like there's going to be a dance there as we go forward.
Yeah. All right. Another one that I like, I've been using Murder of Crows.
Dude,
deal 1 damage to
Crows.
all enemy minions on the surface, and you can cast this again from your cemetery. So it almost draws you another card, right?
It does draw a card. It doesn't. The card you draw is Murder of Crows.
Yeah, the card you drew is Murder of Crows. Correct. Yes.
I think what's awesome about this though is it also can like just blank wards, like just across the realm. Like, oh, are you warding at all? Nope. Like,
yeah, not now.
And then Murder of Crows is sitting in the cemetery, being like, oh, are you trying to ward again? No, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
also
it's
fun
beautiful.
fact, Zach. The collective nouns for Murder of Crows. This Murder of Crows, which these crows are on the ground, they're picking away at this poor gent, right? Murder of Crows is the collective noun if the crows are in the air.
So what is this? An attempted murder of crows?
No. The collective noun for crows on the ground is a congress.
Congress
This
of crows.
is actually a congress of crows. The collective noun for crows that are perched on something above the ground, so they're not flying, they're not on the ground, they're perched on something.
Is it a senate of crows?
No, you're close though.
Is it like a jury of crows?
No, so close.
No,
it's
go for it.
Conspiracy of crows.
A conspiracy of crows. Oh, I love that.
So it's a congress, a conspiracy, a murder. There's a story.
I know I've asked you this before, but we're gonna see how good your memory is. Do you know what a gathering of unicorns is, Phil?
A gathering of unicorns is a horn, Zach.
No, it's a miracle, dude.
Zach, it's a horn. Come on.
It's a miracle of unicorns.
Horn of unicorn.
Anyhow,
it would be cool if it was like a cob of unicorn.
A cob of corn. All right, rescue. Return a minion from your cemetery to your hand. So it doesn't put into play, but think about like my Animus deck where I'm playing like Lady Iseult, right? And I can just be like, oh, she died. Damn. Cool. I'm just gonna go get her back, put her into play, and then start trading my spells that are spirits on the board into your guys, and then getting them back, right? Like being able to have the ability to go like toolbox to get rescue, and then like blow your opponent out with some like next level minion that they killed earlier on is really good. I really like rescue as like as a possible include into here as like a tech spot.
Yeah, I think regrow as optional space to just one, you get to double up on your uniques, which is really nice. But also, if you're playing with any amount of toolboxing in your minion suite, just being able to go, okay, I'll toolbox, and then when you get to untap, then you just sack the toolbox, get the rescue, and then put the thing into play, whatever it was. Like, there's just a lot of value in the options that provides to you. So, yeah, I think rescue is a solid slot if you can handle double earth.
Trial by fire. 3 damage target nearby minion. Maybe cast by any ally. This is the reason why I like this, is because if you're close, this is basically a lightning bolt that can be cast by one of your guys, and then your guy can then attack something else, or you can be like, I'm going to cast this and then attack you, and then maybe kill that minion. It doesn't hit allies, so it's not going to be able to hit your opponent's avatar. But it's just one of those cards where, like, maybe you want this, the trial by fire, and then also trial by water, which it submerges. An ally submerges target minion is nearby. So similar concept there.
Yeah,
Both of them
along
I
this
feel like
space,
are not as good as Drowned. Like this isn't as good as Drowned.
and I also think that Drowned is. I think Drowned is itself is sort of lackluster in that like it does one thing. That thing is not very powerful if you're spending 2+3, even if it's timely. To be worth the collection slot. Like obviously, it's a reasonable effect.
Sometimes you need to answer something.
But
yeah.
yeah. But I think that like the things that would be available to you in collection just are going to push these things outside. Like if the collection were 15 cards, 20 cards, like yeah, these things I think would make it. But this is making me think of another card that I've been really high on recently, thinking about all the things that it can do. Is Sleep. I've been really high on Sleep.
Oh yeah, Sleep. Yeah. You were talking about Sleep before. I should have added that in.
Sleep is just it's 2 and it's a single water, and it just disables a minion that I believe is up to 2 steps away. At a location 2 steps away, and it falls asleep, and then it just doesn't wake up until it takes damage. And if you don't intend on applying any damage to it, it's just like that thing is root spidered until your opponent figures it out.
Yeah,
Let's
see. Yeah, 4 printings. Okay, just seeing if it had any other text about Sleep.
Question about location, Zach. Target minion at a location. A location it means that you can hit things that are also submerged or burrowed, right?
Correct.
So like this thing, it's literally just saying make something that's 2 steps anywhere away from you go to sleep, and then it's disabled.
Yeah, because it's actually targeting target minion at a location up to 2 steps away falls asleep. That's an interesting way to word it, because to my knowledge, you would still need to be underground to target an underground minion.
So you have to be like at a location is the text that means that you have to be in the same region. You have to be either on the surface or the subsurface, hitting something in the same region.
Yeah. Location is in the same area. Site is the thing you're thinking of. That's the difference.
So if my opponent has something,
if you're on top and there's a root spider on the bottom, you're not going to be able to put it to sleep.
You can't target it. Okay,
yep.
That's what I'm curious about. Still, I think like I don't know if like again, Sleep I think falls more into the space of if you wanted to play Sleep, you're probably playing it main board. Just because I don't know if it's powerful enough to warrant to be 2+2. But if you specifically are like, well, I don't want to kill a thing because I'm like, I want to play around like Death Speaker or something, and you're like, okay, well, I actually want to turn this off, but I don't want to remove it. I don't want to put it in the cemetery. Disabling it might be like a really valuable thing. That's a little bit more niche. We're in the niche space, but you know.
Yeah. All right. This is another.
Also, look at this art, Zach. Look at the art.
It is cool art. Yeah. So the next one I think is this is probably one of the best like cards to choose for your collection. It's Angry Mob. Kill an elite or unique minion. Like how many times do you want to do that? And you're like trading up, like you get a 3 body on the board, which is nothing for 4 mana, and you're just like, oh, your unique is dead. I like this card a lot.
I think it's
generally uniques are out there trying to attack you anyhow, or elites are trying to attack you anyhow. So it's a card that you're going to get to play it on your terms 9 times out of 10. Unless it's like, like my Lady Iseult that sits in the background and just like tries to, have my spirits trade. Otherwise, like you're just going to get to play this and you're going to 3 body on top of the fact that you just killed a pretty burly minion for 6 mana because of the 2 tax. But like I said, you're getting 3 body as well.
Yeah, don't make the mob angry.
Arc Lightning. 4 mana to do 4 damage to target nearby unit. The reason why I include this is because I haven't seen a lot of Lugbog Cats lately. I feel like decks are going in sort of a different direction as far as the aggro thing is concerned. But this is a card that like sometimes you just need to do 4 damage to a minion. You're just like, I just need to do 4 damage to a minion. I'm going to play this. It's not Lightning Bolt where it's like I don't know which minion is going to get hit by it. You're just like, this is it.
Yeah, and again, these damage-based spells are always going to be multifaceted in that they are excellent when your opponent is at death's door.
And the art is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to get this altered to be the guy from The Great Outdoors. You know what I'm talking about?
Zach, like I do know what you're talking about. As the
Six,
guy,
six,
as
six,
as
six,
the
six,
altar
six,
guy,
six, 66 times.
as the altar guy, I have all of the desire to get all of the Magic cards that I play with altered.
You have
I
no
have no
desire to get
desire to
yeah.
alter in this game. It's all.
I,
It's already
hey man, I get it, and honestly,
get it.
like for your wallet, I think that's a good move.
Wallet? What wallet? I don't got anything. I'm over here trying to brew magician.
Hey everybody, you know it would be both unique and exceptional if you joined us at patreon.com/Eternal Durdles under the Magicians tier to get all of our sorcery content.
By joining us, you help us pump out more elite content for you.
Now back to the show. I like Flair a lot because Flair can just be like, oh, your entire plan's ruined.
And I'll say it again. It says unit. Great at Death Door.
Yep. Yeah, great at Death Door.
Great at Death Door.
Smite. This is another one. You know, banish a evil minion or strike an adjacent minion.
This one is this is the trial by fire or trial by water version for me of in Earth. Like the faculty of being able to use it by any ally, but like it is just removal, even though it is nice to have flexible removal because any ally can cast it. I'm like I don't know. I mean I'm like instinctually soft on those cards. I think it's just because I know how tight the collection is.
I love them, but this is like banish an evil, and it's
yeah, totally. Like
and it's just one of those cards where like if you're like, oh, I wanted to play more berries, but like I wanted some other utility. This is the thing.
Dude, if you toolbox for Smite, I won't bat an eye. I will just be like,
yeah.
oh, they mean it because I would.
Yeah,
because I know how tight the collection
they're
is.
playing like Dapper Vampire so that they can get an extra like hit out of it and gain even more life. You know, there are reasons to play this over berry, but not a ton. And then Amazon Warriors. Sometimes you just need a 5-body, dude.
Yeah, this is like if you were to like what is the proactive thing that you're applying into your collection? Yeah, you play like the most powerful thing that you can play at ordinary for your toolbox to give yourself an option in that space. Yeah, nothing really too crazy about that.
I want to just check something here.
I think another card, depending on it's another strategy dependent card that I don't think is necessarily main boardable because it's not powerful enough, but has some contextual power. Is Baptize.
Baptize. Okay. What does Baptize do?
Baptize, you ward each ally at target water site.
Nice. Oh yeah.
So
that's
it's
solid.
Like,
you can basically be like, okay, all these guys have just gotten powered up.
Yeah, so essentially it's like in a lot of positions, it's like, you know, I've seen a lot, like I wrote on it for EternalDurdles.com. There's been a bunch of people who have been talking about roots decks, just generally like roots of Yggdrasil.
How do you put? Damn it! I figured out how to say it the other day.
I'm going with Yggdrasil, bro.
Yggdrasil. Roots of Yggdrasil.
So a lot of roots of Yggdrasil decks, and like if you can toolbox as a way to, if you can like somehow sniff out that they're on a roots deck, or you recognize that they're on some sort of root strategy, having a way to like sort of insulate yourself against being entirely blown out by the card if they can find it. Yeah, like being able to have an out to a deck that I've seen people, and that's also what I mean by like once the metagame starts to shape up, I've just seen people like start to explore again pretty deeply with roots decks across a bunch of different avatars. And so if roots just continues to be like a really popular and powerful strategy, then I could see a world where something the tools like Baptize can be something that are worthwhile in your collection.
One that I forgot, or four that I forgot, the gift cycle.
Oh, gift cycles.
I'm playing them in my, you know, like either I'm making a frog, I'm giving a guy lifelink, I'm giving a guy lethal, or I'm like pumping a dude. Like either one, all of those are relevant at some point in time in the game, and they draw you a card, which is, you know, that's the kind of thing I like as like an option. Be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna give my little guy over here lethal, kill your guy. This card replaces itself. Great, you know. I think that's a great option to have.
I'm looking. I'm just doing a quick sweep. If there's any
and
other...
also Highland Clansman. Sometimes you want charge, bro.
Yeah, charge is a removal spell to me if it's coming out of the board, you know.
Yeah.
But it also is potentially
It'll
good at
cost
death.
you 9, but if you're playing late, you just like throw this down, and then the next turn you're like, all right, I have access to everything what I want. Oh, Highland Clansman, boom, get got.
There's also a world where, like, depending on the type of deck that you are, we didn't really talk about it too much, but like, it's also possible that just putting a spellcaster in your board in your collection
Yeah,
might be
you
worthwhile
could,
because, like, if
you might want to do that. Yeah,
like that's something that, like, it doesn't seem like too powerful up on its face, but like depending on how many cards you have that care about spellcasters, if your opponent like catches on that you care about spellcasters to some extent, and then like prioritizes getting rid of them, if you have a way to like more like just increase the density in your deck of access to a spellcaster, like that can also be pretty good. So
there's also Pit Viper and the spiny the blue one that has like Barrow and lethal, and the other one has Submerge and lethal. So both of those are cards you can throw in. Phil, we have what 45 it looks like 45 cards that you could choose for your collection in a go-to spot. I'm going to make this deck not private now. It is now going to be public so people can find it. It's called The Best Toolbox Cards. So you'll be able to find it there. And as I said before, we've got the Dragon Lord 1000. You can comment that below to be included in our we're up to like 910 920 subscribers, so it's gonna happen soon. It's gonna happen like maybe the next week. So definitely subscribe and type in Dragon Lord 1000 in the comments, and you'll be in that drawing. Again, we'd really appreciate it if you wanted to subscribe to either our Magician tier, which gets you both Magic and Sorcery content, or just the Sorcerer tier that just gets you the Sorcery content. And of course, if you're thinking about being a part of the community, one of the great things you can do is hit up Force of Phil on any platform and write for us at eternaldurdles.com. And you can share your thoughts and get in the comments and talk and tell people what you think about different topics that you have for Sorcery, or if you want to talk about other games, you can talk about other games. We're kind of open to any kind of content that you want to make for that. But Phil, talk about it more.
yeah, I really just like, with the growth of Sorcery and our love for it, we just want to be able to, like, we have a platform, we can talk about whatever. We are at like no loss of being able to share our thoughts and ideas, and we just want to give the community a platform as the game grows. Because I really enjoy, like, when I'm like commuting or traveling or doing whatever I'm doing, be able to like read content when I can't necessarily listen to a video or something like that. So like, I also like having I think it's like worthwhile as the game gets older to like have an archive of like the progression of things. So like, recently what I've been working on an article about like my early thoughts on Magician, and like how I'm like sort of navigating to finding a foundation for like what the optimal thing might be with what we have. And I'm going to share that soon. I'll publish that soon. But like, what it made me do was I was like, oh man, I'm looking back at like, back when we were in the like 40-20 space, what were strategies, what did decks look like? And it's like, looking for that kind of content, like seeing the written content for that has been such a blessing for me to like look back because I didn't play during that time. So like being able to go back,
looking over videos and stuff. Oh God, what a slog that would be, right?
It's like having just that archive as like 5 years from now when we're playing this game and thinking like, oh, do you remember when that like thing happened? Like, where can we go to like see what the ideas were back then? Like, were they maybe there's an idea that they're thinking about that we're not thinking about now that like might actually be powerful, or like vice versa. Like, what were they thinking? Like, I just think like I love looking back at like the source for Magic, for like the stuff way back in the Wayback Machine of like, man, how cool is it? How far the game has come. And I want Eternal Durdles to be able to do that for Sorcery. I think that'd be really cool. So if you want to share your thoughts, write an article. Don't worry, you don't have to be a good writer. I am an editor by trade. I will help you, and it will all be good to go. And also, it's a good way to like reach a larger audience for your content too. If you do other content on your own,
we're 100% happy if you are a content creator already and you want to write an article and link to your YouTube channel. We're here for that. Of course.
That and any other links that you would want to do. Like if you're trying to get eyeballs towards anything in the gaming space, like even if it's totally unrelated to Sorcery, but you're like, I think people would really appreciate this other thing too, and I'd love to like get eyeballs on that. We're happy to link to it. Like we want this to be a platform for the community to help like embolden the community. So hopefully you guys want to take advantage of that. We would love for you to do that. So join us.
And with that said, thank you all for watching, and keep contesting that realm later on. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you get a moment, remember to like and subscribe to the video.
Also, don't forget to join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Eternal Durdles in the Magician's tier.
Your support means a lot, and it helps us keep pumping out this content. Thanks so much.
Keep contesting the realm.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you get a moment, remember to like and subscribe to the video.
Also, don't forget to join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Eternal Durdles in the Magician's tier.
Your support means a lot, and it helps us keep pumping out this content. Thanks so much.
Keep contesting the realm.